It's my pleasure today to introduce Jane Anderson to you, which seems a little redundant since everybody knows Jane. She was president of this club from 1992 to 1993, and she's been teaching political science at UC since 1981. She's run for city council twice. She's run for the Ohio House of Representatives. She's been on the Human Relations Commission. She's been in Leadership Cincinnati. She's been in Cincinnati's Association, Cincinnati Women's Political Caucus, the English-Speaking Union, the League of Women Voters, and 5 others, past and present. She's also a member of 14 local and national organizations. On the personal side, she was born in Portland, Oregon, which is a beautiful city. And because her father was in government service, the family moved a lot, although she spent most of her youth in Memphis, Tennessee, which helps explain her Southern hospitality. And it was in Memphis where, quote, this is a quote, "I never got a good conduct mark," close quote. Which leads me to wonder if never getting a good conduct mark is an early sign of becoming a feisty woman. Think about it. She feels that she was born with feistiness. She was always questioning and asking why, that good question, why, about social justice and women's issues. Jane and her late husband, John, have 3 sons and 3 feisty daughters-in-law, a pediatrician, an academic in classics, and a lawyer, plus 5 grandchildren, a granddaughter who is a ballerina, which is what Jane used to be. Did you know that? Or, as she called her, a mini-me. And she has 4 grandsons. When I asked Jane about women she admired from the past, she, right off the top of her head, said Abigail Adams and Elizabeth Cady Stanton, both for obvious reasons. And then I asked her about 2 women from the present whom she admires. And she said Barbara Myers and the late Nancy Minson, both for obvious reasons. So it gives me great pleasure to honor Jane Anderson as one of the Women's City Club's Feisty Women of 2012.
Well, I will try to keep this short, and I'm sure many of you who know me well enough to know that I don't do short so well. My students would confirm that as well. Trust me. First of all, I want to thank you so much, especially during Gwen, for that wonderful introduction to the Feist-Tea Committee and for Women's City Club in your part in bestowing this really great honor on me. I'm truly honored to be in a line of previous honorees who are so outstanding in their feistiness, and they were read off. I mean, it's an awesome list of women. and to be in that long line of women to be honored, it's really marvelous. I am equally honored to be in the company of my co-honorees, Cassandra Barham and Alice Schneider, who are so worthy in terms of being good recipients of this award. So I'm really both proud and very humbled to be here today. I was asked to make a few remarks and perspectives, which I will, and I hope there'll be a few. Obviously, the most rewarding things in my life have been directed at family and my teaching, but truly one of the greatest joys in my life has been the opportunity to bring my skills, whatever they may be, but more to the point, I think, my passions and my energies to work on what I believe are just causes. And to work for change, in particular on behalf of, for lack of a better term, the underdogs. As I look back on my childhood, and Doreen was absolutely right, growing up in the Deep South, I started questioning things, and I didn't have a name for it at the time, but I realized from very early on I've always been a feminist, just no word for it. But I was constantly questioning the roles of girls and women and what was expected of us and what we said we were capable of doing or what we were allowed to do, and it just didn't seem right and fair to me. In addition to that, I certainly, as a result of growing up in the South, looked around and questioned a lot of other things that didn't make sense to me either, including segregation and the extent of poverty that I saw around me. And so I was constantly questioning my mother, these horrible why questions that she could never answer very satisfactorily, because at the time there was no satisfactory answer. I think my decision to attend a women's college was based on that sensibility, though I didn't really fully understand and articulate it at the time about the role of women. But thank God for Wellesley College, and thank God for the women's movement. And Betty Friedan and her feminine mystique, which burst on the scene just about the time I was graduating from college. Suddenly, you know, their light bulb really goes on, and I realized what the problem is. It wasn't just me. But also, I think as I grew into adulthood more, I began to question a lot of other what appeared to me to be things that were unfair and unjust, and speak up when and where I could about it. And that was part of the reason I never got a good conduct mark, is I shot up my mouth a little too much in school. I think part of what helped me question things and look at things from a different perspective was the fact that I moved around a lot, because my family moved a lot, and so I lived in different communities and different community perspectives and behaviors, a real outsider's perspective, if you will, but it did help me see things a different kind of way. And since I was always moving, it wasn't the most important thing for me to be in with the in crowd, so it didn't bother me to question things, because it just seemed like the right thing to do.